afternoon, my octoroon. This is my Husqvarna 701 2020. I wanted to go over a few things with it just because I am in love with this bike. It's got pretty much everything I've ever wanted as far as like handling, power, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to go over a few of the features that basically helped me buy this thing and help me make the decision to buy this thing. So I've been wanting a Supermoto for a very long time. And when I say that, I mean I want to say at least 5-6 years, and I've been riding for about 10 to 11 years. And once this one came onto the market, even pre-2020, I loved it. I wanted it. It was the most powerful one, had everything already set from the factory, looked amazing, had the tubular frame, the suspension is already set up, you already have the wheels right on it from the factory, and it's street legal right out of the box. So we'll start with the engine. Obviously it's around 700 cc. It's about I think it's a 693 cubic centimeter motor, which is pretty freaking big for a single cylinder engine. In comparison to like a WR 450 or something like that, it just puts it in the dust. And as you can see, I've already went through one of the tires and went with a Michelin instead. Changed out the tail fairing, put on an aftermarket exhaust intake, got a Power Commander 5. Kind of needs those things. So one of the main features I wanted it for was the new traction control on the 2020. So you get traction control on it, which is great. There's a map button. It's got 2 maps on it. I'll show you. You can choose between each map. Kind of you press it once and it'll change between the maps. The maps, I'm not gonna lie to you, you probably never change them. And then the ABS on this thing. So it's got traction control. It's also got ABS, which works really, really well. Has saved my ass more than a few times, which I'll show you how on this road that I'm on right now. I'm over in Tantalus, which is over here in beautiful Hawaii, over in Oahu, and this is a nice little view of Waikiki. So you got Diamond Head over there. Just good views. Okay, so back to the bike. Right out of the box, the bike was good. It did need those aftermarket things though. It did need the aftermarket exhaust. You don't really need to go for the full exhaust. I did it anyways. Power Commander and an intake. You need those things to open it up. The stock can that comes on it is just freaking enormous. It wanted to burn whatever was around it. I scraped my finger on it like that one time, just for a second, and I got a bubble on my finger. So I had to change that out. Helped it run a lot more smooth, and obviously cooler as well. You know, will help it breathe and everything like that. More performance out of it. Gained a few horsepower as well, of course. I also went with one tooth down on the front sprocket, left the rear sprocket stock. So I took off a little bit of front top end. However, the torque that it gave me was unreal. I was able to wheelie through another couple of gears because of that alone. So it's got Brembo brakes up in the front and back. The clutch on these tend to go out actually very quickly. I've heard of people as low as literally 1 mile on the bike and it failed on them. Mine failed at about, I think it was 700 miles, and so I ended up going with Oberon clutch slave cylinder to fix that problem. So now I don't have to worry about that. Got WP suspension, fully adjustable, and these 2 forks, they actually do different things. There are one's compression, one's for rebound. So they actually do different things. You don't have to tune them on both forks. The rear shock, I believe, is also WP suspension. If I can find, where are you? There you go. Also fully adjustable. Very, very fun bike. I'm just gonna get it up on the road real quick and give her a whirl. Kind of show you what it's all about. I highly recommend if you're gonna go tear up mountain roads and stuff like that, get yourself a good pair of boots. I mean, these aren't like track boots. They weren't like $500. It was a couple $100. They do the job well. You know, give me the protection that I need. Good helmet, good pair of gloves, of course a jacket, some pants, stuff like that. But here's where this bike really strives. So if you're like me and you can't really find a good windy road, and what I mean by good is it doesn't have like a bunch of potholes and a bunch of crap on it, this is probably the best bike for crappy windy roads, because it has the suspension travel to basically handle all of it. They're going through a corner and it's wet, slippery. If I jam on the front brakes on this thing, just basically load up the front and hit the rear brake, it'll the anti-lock brakes will kick in on the front and rear, stop me from basically going into the woods somewhere, and I can just hit my turn pretty hard, which is pretty sweet. So even on these shitty roads, I get to, you know, scrape my boots on some of these turns, which is really thrilling. It's nice. Such a good stress reliever too. Bumps, it's wet, it's literally mossy on the road, but this thing will eat it right up as soon as I can get past these guys. There we go. Okay, perfect example. It's wet, it's nasty. Downshifter. Oh, it's got a quick shifter. I didn't even mention that earlier. Yeah, the quick shifter, I didn't know it had a quick shifter until after I had ordered it, and while it was on the way over here, I read about it online that it had a quick shifter. I was really freaking stoked about that, and it's like up and down you can shift. So like no clutch, downshift, downshift, upshift, upshift. Perfect. Love it. Yeah, this thing rips. Whew. Okay. This thing just like, the stance of the handlebars and everything just makes it like so flickable. You can just get it any position you want. Real wet. Gotta be careful. Yee! Got a little squirrely there. Yeah, there's a lot of moss on the road. Thankfully, this thing just handles it. Even with these street tires, like slick, almost slicked. Oy. Oy. Nasty bumps. So this is like, this bike feels home on this road. Like the perfect place for it, wet or dry. Carve these corners out, boy. I can't really go as hard as I usually want to go just because it is wet, and, you know, there's still always, I'm going to do my due diligence because it has traction control and ABS. It doesn't mean it's going to save your ass from dumping it, but it's a good rider aid. And I can't even lie to you, before I was not even a believer in those things. I was like, man, nah, I'm a purist, I don't like having those things. Once I tried it I was like, I can actually ride a lot harder with those things on there. Let's go slow for the lady. Alright. Oh dang, this is my favorite part too. Always riding through here is just so, if you live here in Honolulu, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is like one of the most amazing roads ever. It's just like huge forest, windy road. Take it slow in the car, you know, just enjoy it. But on this thing you gotta rip. It's like a necessity. Whoop. All that moss on the road is messing me up. Get to flick down to those gears without having to
pulling the clutch or anything. And if you've been riding for a while, you know how to downshift without having to use the clutch anyways, but it definitely helps not have to flip the throttle and do all that before a turn and have to worry about that, or having to pull in the clutch, bang down a couple of gears, and then let it out, and then your whole back end gets squirrely. This thing, you can gradually get your back end squirrely. It has a slipper clutch as well, I believe, which helps to not completely lock up the wheel. So in a sense of like, if you're doing hardcore supermoto riding on a track, you probably want to turn those things off. You're not going to be able to back it in like a regular supermoto. You know, if you're taking it to the track, you're going to turn off the ABS, traction control, all that stuff, because it's just going to take away a lot of the fun. But roads like this, man, you need it. You absolutely need it. I don't know how many times this thing has saved my ass just because of having those. Wait. So, you know, one other supermoto I really liked was my friend's CRF 450R, and it was converted to a supermoto, of course, because they don't come like that from the factory. And this thing, let me tell you, just ballsy, super ballsy. But the thing is, it didn't have as much power as this. However, it was really, really light. The swing arm was shorter, so you could flick it up into wheelies a lot easier. Although this one does come up pretty easy. Just that bike, you could pull it up in 5th gear and it'll come right up. Just give it a little one of those and off you go. This is supposed to be a little bit more street worthy. Higher top speed, more comfortable at those speeds as well, longer gears. You could probably do that stuff with the CRF, but you'd be putting it under a lot of stress. That's a race engine, this is a street engine. You know, intervals for oil changes are longer, you know, all that good stuff. So a little bit more dependent, well, a lot more dependable on this. But yeah, there you have it. Ugh.